There we go. It's the midweek message. Can you believe it's already that time of the week where I just get to share a short story with you, and hopefully it impacts your life. Hopefully it makes you think a bit deeper, and hopefully you share it with others. Now, I want to ask you before we even start with the story, have you heard that expression that first impressions last? First impressions last. I believe it's true. And so I want to explain to you what happened to me. Now, I was in the Air Force doing my national service back then. It was the early 80s, around there, and mid-80s. And so I'm doing my national service, and where I was on Air Force Base Waterkloof, it was relatively relaxed, and most days after 4:15 you had time to yourself. So to keep ourselves busy, we would play a lot of sport, and soccer and rugby and cricket and squash. I played a lot of squash back then. So I became probably fitter than I've ever been, looking the best I've ever looked in my life, and just getting a lot of exercise. And you can't really eat healthy in the Defence Force, believe me. You just get what you eat what you get. But yeah, it was probably the best that I've ever been in my life, fittest and healthiest and all the rest. So where I work, there was a lady who wanted to learn to play squash, and she asked would I teach her. So I thought, obviously I don't mind, I got lots of time on my hands, and arranged to meet her at the squash courts. And now obviously she must have thought, man, I don't trust this dude. I'm not going alone. So she brings her sister with. Now, I had played a game of squash before against someone, and so I was hot and I was sweaty, and while I'm waiting for them, I stood on the court and I'm just hitting a couple of balls and practicing a few things, and I hear a car pull up, and one door closes and two door closes. I thought, okay, maybe she brought a friend with. And so they make their way up to the balcony, and Cecilia, the lady I was going to teach, says, I brought my sister with. Initially I couldn't see the sister, so I said, like, hello, I'm Paul, and this face comes over that balcony with these big, beautiful, round eyes, these cheeks, and man, those lips. She's going to kill me. But she had luscious lips. She still has got. So kissable. But, you know, I experienced one of those Hollywood moments where, like, everything just slowed down. Like, ooh. And in a split second, a lifetime of emotions ran through me. I could literally feel my heart beating in my chest. It was like everything was quiet. There was no one else except that face. And I looked into those eyes. And I don't know if you believe in love at first sight. I don't know what happened. But man, that first impression just blew me away. It knocked me right out of my socks. I couldn't get over it, and now I've got to teach her sister to play squash. But all my attention is up there. I want to just impress her, and I'm making sure every time I play a shot, I've got major flex on my muscles, and I'm portraying like an image of you know, men always want to be the stud, and I've got like all my stud moves going and trying to impress this girl. And I don't know how, but I don't know how I even asked or introduced myself afterwards, because I couldn't speak. I was like flabbergasted. And it takes quite a bit to get me at a loss for words, but she managed to do that on that day. But I did get to ask her on a date, which she eventually accepted. And that must be about 32 years ago already, maybe even more. But yeah, that first impression it lasts. And now, I'm fortunate enough to be married to the person that left an impression on my life that has changed me and impacted me and caused me to live different. So, first impressions do last. I am 110% convinced of that. So let me ask you this question. When people first meet you, what impression do you leave with them? That's a deep question. It's going to cost you some time to spend alone, evaluating, digging deep. You're either going to show them that you walk with Jesus or that you live far from Him. You're going to show them that you are confident in yourself or that you got weaknesses. Doesn't matter what you're going to show. The fact is, you're showing something, because first impressions do last. What impression do you leave with people who meet you for the first time? Is it an impression you want to leave, or is it something that you need to work on, so when people see you, they see someone they can like, someone they can be friends with, and someone that they can walk a road with? What impression do you really leave on people? Thank you for listening.